Hello and welcome. This is the first anime review that will be put on this channel. And basically, what I decided to start doing was to review 2 to 3 anime for each season. And so, of course, this is the fall 2017 season. And the first anime that I want to review is called 12 Taisen or Juuni Taisen, which means the 12th Great Battle. Tyson also translates to Great War, so some people also call this show the Zodiac War. Okay, so I want to start off this video by giving you an overview of this anime. So I'll be reading a synopsis, which you can find at honeysanime.com. That's a place I usually go to read up on any anime reviews or news or things like that. Okay, so the synopsis. Once every 12 years, a 12-way battle royale is held, and this is the 12th time. 12 ferocious fighters carrying the names of the 12 characters of the Chinese zodiac fight, wagering each of their lives and souls. These strange 12 participants are the rat, the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, the horse, the goat, the monkey, the rooster, the dog, and the pig. The one who emerges victorious can have one wish granted regardless of the circumstances. There is one wish that each contender wants granted no matter what. Who will survive until the end? On a battlefield with strategy and slaughter swirled together, whose tears will be the one to fall. The battle royale that will shake your soul is about to break out. So there you go. The main plot of this anime is that there's going to be 12 fighters, basically one for each of the zodiac signs, and they're going to be fighting and killing each other until there's only one left standing, and the winner's going to have their wish granted. That's basically what the anime is going to be about. Alright, so moving on, I want to give you a brief introduction to each of the characters that we met this episode. And there's quite a bit of characters, so I'll try to get through this as quickly as I can. So first up is the boar, and I guess the description that's given to her is killing bountifully. So it tells us a little bit about her character, and for all intents and purposes, she's actually the main character of this episode, and she seems to be familiar with some of the other people that are part of the zodiacs. So next is the ox, and he's just said to be the favorite to win. No exact reason why. He's probably very strong. Next is the sheep, and this is an old man who's considered to be a legendary fighter. Okay, next, the chicken. So all we know about her is that she carries a pitchfork, probably uses it as a weapon. The dog. So this is the only person that actually has like a beast-like appearance. Like his face and his head actually kind of look like that of like a rabid dog. Next is the tiger, and this person has like the least amount of screen time on the episode, so we know nothing about the tiger. Okay, next is the monkey, and what we know right off the bat is that the boar like has a big disdain for the monkey. Some past experiences that they probably had together, but they don't exactly say why they don't like each other. The snake, we're introduced to this character right away. We just see him on the ground, like decapitated. He's dead, and presumably he was killed by the next character, which is the rabbit. And the description that's given to the rabbit is killing psychotically. So that tells you a little bit about him. Okay, next is the horse, and all we know about him is that he's this really big guy. He has a helmet that's kind of shaped like a mane, and it has a symbol of a horseshoe on it. Okay, next is the rat, and all we know about this character is that he's shown like on the ground, just kind of sleeping through everything right before the referee begins to give the rules about this Juuni Taisen. And next is the dragon, and we don't know for sure if he's the dragon. Just like we don't know exactly for sure that the guy sleeping on the ground is the rat because the names aren't said explicitly in the episode. But those are the only two signs left that haven't been given to a character. So we're just assuming that one is the rat, the guy sleeping, and the dragon is actually the twin brother of the guy that's on the ground dead, which is the snake. So we're assuming that the snake and the dragon are twin brothers. And the dragon seems to be really interested in money and probably fighting for money. And the last character I'll mention is the referee. His name is Due de Couple. Sounds French. We don't know much about him, just except that he's the referee. In the episode, he explains the rules of the Juuni Taisen and how the winner is going to be the one that receives a wish, pretty much a wish for anything. There don't seem to be any limitations on what the wish can be as of yet. So there are a few more characters, but I'll get to them in a little bit as I go through, I guess what I like to call the episode roadmap. I'll give you kind of like a play-by-play of the major events that took place throughout the episode. So I'll get to those other characters at that time. All right, so let's get into the episode roadmap. So I feel that this episode can be broken down into about five different sections. So the first section would be that at the beginning of the episode, we're introduced to Boar as she's walking through this abandoned town. And as she's walking and carrying like these two huge guns with her, there's like a real like horror movie vibe going on. Like the city looks abandoned. There's like cars that are just left all over the streets. The doors open. We don't see any bodies or anything like that, but we just see a town that looks like it's been like very recently evacuated. And apparently, what happened is that the town was prepped by whoever organized the Juuni Taisen. So they try to leave the area like as clear as possible for these 12 Zodiac people that were going to gather and have a meeting at that night. So that's the first part. The second part of this episode is that Boar has a flashback in which she's taking down several armed combatants while she herself is unarmed for the most part. She's just taking them down with her hands and just like hand-to-hand combat. And while she's doing this, she's receiving advice from her father from like a little earpiece that she has, and she takes them all out like pretty easily until she gets to the very last person, and that person actually like surrenders and like asks for mercy. So she thinks about it for a second, and then she decides to let the guy off. And then from there, we see Boar back at her house, and she's talking to her father, and her father basically just like hits her and like berates her for showing anybody mercy. Like he thinks that should not be allowed whatsoever. Like you just have to kill anyone that stands in your way. So part three of this episode is going back to the present. Boar finally reaches the meeting place, and we're introduced to the people that are going to be battling in this Juuni Taisen. And she spots Rabbit standing over the corpse of the snake. That's the guy I said earlier who was decapitated. And even though the rabbit is holding this blade that's like dripping of blood, he's like, "Oh no, no, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. Why are you accusing me of this? You're such a bad person." So after that, Duo de Couple, the referee, he emerges and he greets everyone, introduces himself, and he asks that everybody that's there, all of the 12 warriors, to grab one of the jewels. Each of them grabs one jewel that's on this table in the middle of the room. And so everybody grabs a jewel, and then he tells them all, "Okay, take that jewel, and now you got to swallow it." So everyone just, all right, like almost like no questions asked. Everyone just takes like this fat jewel, kind of like shaped like a diamond, like a black diamond, and everyone just swallows it. And after they do that, Do It a couple says, "Okay, well, what you just imbibed was poison, and it's going to take about 12 hours to dissolve in your body and then kill you." And he says basically the one person that's going to be left standing. Well, let me backtrack. Basically, he says that in order to win, you have to collect all 12 jewels. And once you do that, you'll be declared the winner and you'll be given an antidote to stop the poison from killing you. So basically, you have to like kill everybody else, take the jewels out of their bodies, and once you collect all 12, you become the winner. So he explains that to everybody. Um, so part four of this episode is the Boar having another flashback in which her father declares that Boar's younger sister is going to be the one that's going to participate in this Juuni Taisen. And we did see the younger sister in the previous flashback in the earlier in the episode. And this little sister seems to have like this knack for wanting to kill little animals. And so once the father chooses that younger sister, Boar like constructs this plan to enact revenge on her. And basically, what she ends up doing is like turning her little sister into like this murdering psychopath that actually ends up like killing like all of her classmates, and it's actually like pretty gory, and it's actually kind of serious and kind of scary too for this episode. Um, so yeah, so after she kills her classmates, like this younger sister just kind of like has like this mental breakdown, and she takes this knife and basically she kills herself, or so this show would have us to believe. So basically, we think that she's dead. But either way, Boar is then the one that's offered an invitation to compete in this Juuni Taisen. Since her sister is presumably dead, Boar is the one that's going to fight. Okay, so from there, this the fifth and I guess final part of this episode is we go back to the present, and Duo de Couple, he answers a few more questions from the warriors that are there. After he does that, he like surrounds himself in this blue energy and pow, he's out of there. See you guys. And as soon as he's gone, the monkey kind of like steps up and asks everyone to listen to her idea. She says that she has a plan that involves no one having to die. So, some people actually seem interested in what she has to say. But before she can give any details, like suddenly there's like this strong like killing intent that's felt by Boar, and it might have actually been felt by everybody. It wasn't exactly clear. There's just like this little scene of like some like spider sense stuff kind of going on, and then once that happens, like the ground begins to tremble, and then it just explodes like into rubble. Like apparently there was probably some explosives underneath the floor that kind of just blew it up, and yeah, the floor just kind of blows up into rubble, and then the dust starts to settle, and it looks like everyone has pretty much left except for Boar. She's there and she stands up, and then she notices that someone else is hiding, so she asks that person to come out, and Rabbit actually is the one that comes out of hiding, and he just begins to attack Boar, and the two of them kind of face off, and it's pretty cool. Even though it's short, it's a pretty cool little fight. And just as Boar, pretty confident about her abilities, just as she's about to win and kill Rabbit, a pair of hands grab her from behind, and they kind of hold her in place. And Rabbit, from the front, just stabs her right through the heart with one of his swords. And in agony, she like turns to see like who's the one that's holding her arms back, kind of pinning her in place. And she sees that it's actually the headless corpse of Snake. That's who's been holding her still. And then as she's dying, like Rabbit kind of reveals that he's actually he calls himself a necromantist. So he kills people, he reanimates their bodies, and then he kind of forces those bodies to work for him. And he says, "That's what I do, and I'm about to do the same to you right now." And then that's where the episode ends. All right, so you pretty much know what took place throughout the episode now. And here at the end, I just kind of want to give my impressions and final thoughts. And so I had no additional context going into this first episode. Like, I didn't know if it was based off of a manga or light novel or visual novel or anything like that. So I went into it with no prior information, and I actually enjoyed it. Like, I like that it went from like a horror movie kind of vibe into like this kind of dark past of this person that was like entering this contest to fight, and whoever ends up winning is going to get like their wish granted for whatever they want. That was pretty interesting, and then it kind of started turning into a mystery, like who's the one that's like starting to sabotage this like meeting that they're all having. And then at the end there's like a cool little fight going on, and then we learned that this guy has like an ability to kill people and bring them back to life, so that was really cool as well. I'm actually wondering if the boar will, survive the attack from the end of this episode and continue to be our main character throughout the rest of the series. I have no idea. She could die. Maybe like we'll switch and get the point of view of someone else. That could be cool as well. I'm actually really interested to see, the next episode and how the rest develops. So I'm really looking forward to that. My one gripe with this episode would be that the 12 warriors of the Zodiac, they all just kind of willingly swallowed that jewel, which ended up being poisoned. They didn't really question what was going on. They didn't try to like stop or even ask Duo de Couple like what it was exactly that they were about to swallow. So that seemed pretty uncharacteristic for all of them. The last thing I want to say is thank you for watching this video. This is the first anime review that I've done, and I'm going to be putting out more, so hopefully you enjoy those. Um, yeah, I'll make sure that the content keeps improving and getting better as I go along. So thanks again for watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.